Okay, so for this lesson, you're going to be looking at how to read a clock. There's a short video there that reminds you of quarter past if you would like to watch it. Now, we have an analog clock and we have digital clocks. Most of the time now you'll see digital clocks. You see them on smartphones and smartwatches. There's hardly any really example that I see around quite often that does use an analog clock, but you do need to know how to use the both of them. Now, just some revision. We have looked at reading a clock before, and there is another video there for you to watch if you're still getting pretty confused with it all. But you just need to remember, okay, that you've got your minute hand, which is the long hand over here. You've got your hour hand over here. When the minute hand is pointing to the 12, it's o'clock. When it's pointing to the 3, it's quarter past. The 6 is half past, and the 9 is quarter to. Now, each time that the pan passes through, you're going to add 5 minutes. So I'm going to actually show you. Here's another example, but this is a really great website. I suggest that you use it for this lesson, okay, or any lesson that's coming up. Now, for example, I'm just going to have it at 8 o'clock. You can see that the time over here changes. You can make it 12 hour or 24 hour. I'm going to go 12 hour. All that 24 hour time means is that it's after, when it's 1 p.m., it counts the hours so that then it will become 1300. But we don't need to know that as such in year 3, so we're just going to work on 12-hour time. Every time, now there's 60 minutes within that hour, which means that there are 60 little, you can see, have a look. What I want you to look at is keep an eye over on the digital and the analog time. Now, I've just moved it 1 minute. So now it's 1 past 8. Now it's 2 minutes past 8. You could see that each of these is going to count by 1. Now, when we get to a number, you see that it's 5 past. Now, this is important because before, especially before the use of so much technology, people wore analog watches. And it would be very, very difficult if you didn't have these numbers out as well, so that you know that that's 5 minutes. Because if I'm looking at my time and I look at my watch and I put my watch back down and it's over here, I can see, okay, that's 5, and then I'll just have to count the little numbers after the 5, which means that it's 8 past 8. What also happens is, if you can see, it's the hour hand. If I go back to 8 o'clock, you can see that the hour hand is directly pointing to the 8 because it's 8 o'clock. Oh, sorry. Here we go. 8 o'clock. Now, as I move the minute hand, can you notice, I want your eye over here, notice how the hour hand also moves because it's getting closer and closer to the next hour. Now, the reason why we say quarter past is if I was to break this clock into 4 sections, it will be 4 15 minutes. Okay, so this is a quarter, this is a quarter, there's another quarter up to the 9 and another quarter. Half past is directly in between. 30 minutes have passed. It is the time directly in between the 2 hours. You can see that the hour hand is directly pointing to the middle of the 8 and the 9. So we say 8:30 or we say 9:30. Sorry, we say 8:30, not 9:30. Sorry about that. Now, this is the part where a lot of people get confused. Okay, a lot of the time in your assessments, what I see is that you would label this as 9:45 or quarter to 10, but it's not. Okay, the hour hand hasn't passed the 9 yet, but it's almost at the 9. So only 45 minutes have passed from the 8, so it's moving away from the 8 and it's coming closer to the 9. So you can see that it's quarter to 9, 8:45. I suggest you use this. It's a great site. And the reason why I love this is because you can clearly see the changes within the time. Okay. And then if I take you to 9 o'clock, we're also going to use this a little bit later on in another lesson to see how you can actually measure amounts of time that have passed. So if I go back to today's lesson, what I would like you to do, if you're doing a level 1 activity and you're still working on o'clock, I want you to label the digital time and I want you to write it as well. Here's your first example. So that's the level 1 is all o'clock. Level 2 is going to be o'clock and half past, a quarter to. Okay, so this is where most of year 3 should be. So write the time, okay, in analog and in words. If you know how to tell the time to the minute, I want you to do level 3.